welcome back to the U Up podcast. I'm Jordana Abraham.
And I am Jared Freed. It is so good to be back here with you, Jordana. How are you? What's going on? What's the haps?
It's so great to be back with you. I have been, not much has been going on with me. I've just been thinking about you and your move. That's how little is going on with me. I'm just like, so weird. Like, I'm like, Jared's leaving. I just keep thinking about how you're leaving soon. Like, this is your last week as a New Yorker.
It's funny you say this because I'm not taking it as seriously as people are saying it to me. Okay. And then that makes me anxious.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I literally said before we started, I was like, can I ask you?
You can ask.
No.
I mean, okay. Everyone. I was about to say everyone's been asking. No one gives a shit.
Right.
Let me start.
That's right.
No
I've been thinking about it. I'm not like deeply concerned, but I have been just like, it's been on my mind.
I have this like roller coaster of emotions going on right now.
Okay. Take me through them.
Sometimes it hits me that I've been here for 18 years.
18 years?
Yeah.
Really? So you moved here what age?
I was 22 after college, like people do. And I'm like the last one. Sometimes I feel like I'm the last one at the party. You know,
well, then that must be exciting when you think about that because you're like, oh, I'm leaving the party.
Well, is it like...
Isn't that more depressing to be the last person at the party and have no plans to leave the party?
Right. I guess I haven't thought of it that way. I go back and forth. I don't know. Like, there's a piece of me that, like, any form of leaving New York feels like a failure of a certain kind. Like, you feel like you have to explain yourself. Why are you leaving? Like, aren't you 40? Aren't you in the run-up of your life? Aren't you at the working age? You're going to Florida? Like, Florida to me, like, and again, we judge, when you judge yourself or you feel anxious about something, it's our own judgment.
It's your own insecurity.
It's your own insecurities. So, like, I'll admit to that. I'll be vulnerable here on the U Up podcast, as I always try to be. But you go, like, what loser... Florida, moving to Florida to me was always like a loser move. Like, it's like...
Your parents live in Florida.
Yeah. Well, they're going there to die.
That's true.
If you think about it, like, you go there to die or you go there to escape.
Okay.
To me, it's like people who flunked out. This is a great way to start the podcast. Sorry to people in Florida. Please come to my shows.
Everyone is going to be welcoming you.
Right. I just don't think of, like, winners being in Florida. I think of fakers.
Do you think winners are only in New York City?
No, not only in New York City. Again, like, when I go around the country, I don't, people come up to me all the time whenever I'm on the road. Oh, this is no New York. This is no New York. And I don't go to a place expecting it to be New York. Right. I go to a place... And I genuinely feel like, oh my God, I envy a lifestyle that could exist in Cleveland. Yeah. I was just in San Jose. I was just talking to you. San Jose seems like a great place to live and, like, have a family and live like a nice life. And I do believe that about Florida in some ways, but it's the leaving New York for Florida,
right,
that has this, like, brand that I really don't want to be a part of.
I see what you're saying, but it's more like, you know what I mean? I actually think in reality it's much better, but it's like New York is like a toxic, abusive boyfriend.
Yeah.
Right? Where it's like when you're here, you're like, there's garbage everywhere. It smells. Everyone's so rude to each other. The subway is terrifying. But, like, oh, I could never live anywhere else.
Right.
It's like,
right. It's like the
enemy
would I do? Right. I'm getting asked this question a lot. Like, why are you moving? When are you moving? Are you ready? Are you excited? Do you have friends? And I've thought of none of those.
Now
things.
You know how I felt the past 8 years when I moved every
year.
Every year, yeah.
Betch's moving company.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one moves more than a Betch.
Now you're getting to be like us. One of us.
I really am. I'm one of us. One of us. And I guess, like, I haven't put a lot of thought into it. Like, I put thought in it,
That's
obviously.
Good.
But I'm saying, like,
because you're not doing anything that permanent.
Right. This is and again, every time I say this, I feel like I'm defending myself from something I'm not being, accused of. Like when I'm like when someone's like, "Are you excited?" I get annoyed at that because I'm like, why would I be excited? I want to see if this works.
Right.
Am I excited? I don't know. I'm going there to, like, see if I can.
It's very unknown. There's a lot of unknown.
It's very unknown. Yeah. And I don't want to, like, disappear into the earth. Like, I want my comedy career to keep growing. That's, and the fact that I feel like I have to say that feels very insecure of me.
So you're afraid that when you say I'm moving to Florida, it's reading as I've given up.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that's something, it wasn't working here. It was working here in a way, like I don't think it was working here for lifestyle purposes. I've had friends that are like, just get a bigger apartment here. Stop being cheap. I had friends say that to me.
Wow.
That I'm being
You
cheap. I don't consider...
I'm the cheap one.
You're cheap.
Yes.
I'm not the cheap
yes,
one.
I am the cheap one.
You're
yes.
the cheap one in this podcast.
Yeah.
And no, but there's some realness to that.
It was a nightmare being like compared to me. Yeah.
I know. How can I? I'm not the Jordana. No, but there is some reality to that. Like if I was committed to New York, you commit to like, cash poor, apartment rich type of lifestyle,
right.
where
you're spending a lot more on. If you're going to live in a nice place in New York, you're
right.
spending more than half your monthly income probably.
Right, and you're gonna like give yourself to that, and there's a risk in that. There's a different type of risk. And I basically like, a lot of this move has to do with like getting out of this apartment that you can all go see on our YouTube. You can go see the apartment
tour. The old
apartment,
apartment, not the new apartment.
The one I'm leaving. You can go see it on...
if you up the subscribers enough, we'll go to Florida and tour the new apartment.
A tour of the new apartment would be hilarious. It's like a little cottage it's basically 2 blocks from the beach. Like, it's like a great... and I'm like trying to see if having a car and having... Someone commented, I've been talking a lot about it on my Patreon and on You Up With Benefits. So You Up With Benefits, if you want to like hear more of this conversation... I would sign up for benefits because we're not going to like go on and on, here. We're going to talk about my move and we're going to talk about all the things I'll be dealing with as this move progresses. And it's a 3-month, let's see.
Yeah.
But I needed to get out of this apartment just generally. And I needed, the West Village is a very, It does feel like a little bit of a la-la land. It doesn't feel like reality. Like I'm kind of sitting amongst
more, right?
Yeah, younger people that I don't really connect with. And I got family down in Florida, so that's nice to be close to them.
Well, where do the comedians that you know and like and admire, where do they live?
Well, New York.
Not in the West Village.
Not in the West Village. Well, all over. Well, now, you do see this thing that's going on in comedy. And this is kind of a more towards the inspiration for like going out and, living somewhere else other than New York or LA is like, not to say Voldemort on this podcast in these hallowed halls, but like Joe Rogan in Austin.
Yeah.
He made Austin his own thing.
Pretty good at what he does.
Tom Segura, that's a guy that's in Austin. Nate Bargatze, who's one of the is the biggest comedian alive today, is doing it from Nashville. And, there are clubs in those areas, so that's a little bit...
Does that feel validating then to you? When you
it's
think
not
about
invalidating. It's inspiring because you go, well, maybe I could do that in Del Rey. But I'm not, there's a problem where it's like chicken or egg. Like, I'm not, like, big enough to, like, float my own boat in Del Rey. Like... those guys are huge, but Nate wasn't as huge before. There's you can go.
There's nuance to it, right?
Like the other option is do nothing, keep doing what I've always done, and that just doesn't feel like it's serving me personally. Right,
and I think to me this is a great idea because if absolutely nothing else, literally like in the worst case scenario, you tried it.
Right.
You can't be like just wondering, what if I moved there? What if I maybe I'd like it more? Like you'll know.
This is a transitional phase for me. And listen, 40 I'm seeing this a lot with the 40-year-old people. Everyone's kind of having my peers, the people my age are having moments. I remember I was in a coffee shop on the Upper East Side when I was first starting doing comedy, and there was this woman I used to talk to at the Starbucks all the time. She was very nice, and for some reason, and she had a family, and she was like around my age.
I remember this. Yeah, she gave you advice. Right?
She was just like, "Yo, good for you." She was like all pumped that she was like, "My husband and all his friends are 40 now, and they're all freaking out that they should have done and could have done and didn't do." And I'm like, well, and I didn't think of it then, but I was like, I guess now thinking back, I was like, I guess they were my age, but they had kids, like they.
Right.
So I don't know. This Florida move is exciting. I mean, like as far as this podcast is concerned, we keep going.
Doing. Yeah, you're back next week.
I'll be back next week. I'm committed to like making it work and seeing how it can work.
It's funny. You're doing like what I always encourage you to do with women with Florida.
Right, take a chance.
Go all in.
Right.
Just commit to the relationship.
Yeah.
If in 3 months you are feeling suffocated and you want to leave, you can leave.
Right. Now you're right. And I'm like, it's kind of a good time for this. We're trying to sell the special. I'm writing this book that is really not an easy. How did you like writing books?
Well, I did it with Sammy and Eileen, so I really wrote a third of a book.
But But I did it a few times. I have a ghostwriter, so which I think she's the best and funny, and I'm so happy I'm working with her because it's helped me a lot.
No, I think I think it's a totally different feat to write a book by yourself. Is like a whole other ball game. So I think
it's been very depressing for me.
Well, I think you talked about this a little bit on benefits.
Yeah.
Right.
Just the idea that you have to rehash, like I'm basically rehashing my dating life.
Right.
Well, and it's funny. Telling these stories that I haven't thought of like I used to tell these stories all the time, just to friends, and now they're like gonna be part of this book
published.
Yeah, and it's like to go back and think like the arguments I had and the way
tone
I
upbeat?
operated. What
Is the tone upbeat?
I don't even know. I hope. I'm hoping it's funny.
Very sad.
It's supposed to. Well, I mean, the premise is it takes you from breakup to breakup.
Right.
Because that's all I know.
Okay.
So is that upbeat? You get dumped, and then you get dumped again.
Well, you get back out.
Everything
there.
in between.
Yeah.
Well, it's all about getting back out there and downloading apps. And they told me they're like every few years a straight man writes a dating book that does really well.
Yeah, he's just not that into you.
Aziz Ansari, Steve Harvey.
Yeah.
All these books.
We want to know.
So we'll see. How are you? I'm stressed talking about the move.
We're going to de-stress you. If you want to hear more about the move, listen to Benefits, subscribe. You also get these episodes ad-free and a day early.
Yeah, we have a pretty big Benefits community. We're one of the top Benefits shows on Apple, I think.
Yeah.
But, that's just to tell you, people generally get it and stay with it. And that's really the nicest compliment of them all, because I say this on every Benefits episode. I don't think I've ever said it here. It's a vast and mostly free internet.
Yeah.
And for people to put their hard-earned money into a different version of this show is such a compliment, and and to keep doing it is very nice and awesome.
I'm always honored when I find out someone's a subscriber.
I mean, we have some personal, we talk shit. It's
we get really mean, guys.
We're fucking mean. Assholes.
Yeah.
You don't even know us. Yeah, the questions stress me out. It's like, I don't know.
In some ways, no one can relate to you more because I've moved so much and people would always ask me about my upcoming move, and I never wanted to talk about it because I was like, I'm not so excited. I don't know anything yet about what it's going to be like. So
right.
Back off.
Right. If I don't want to be that person. I hate that person. I'm leaving. Fuck this place. That's not what I'm saying.
Right.
Like, I think there's no bigger loser than someone who talks about how bad New York has gotten after they left. I think that's a loser.
Yeah. You have to talk shit about New York while you're here to be a cool person.
Well, you're here. It's like talking shit about your partner. Like
your ex.
Yeah. No, talking shit about your ex, you're a
petty.
loser.
It's petty.
Talk shit about your spouse.
Cool.
I get it.
Relatable.
Yeah. So different things. So I'm not going to do this like goodbye post.
Are you doing? Is there any like restaurant? I mean, you're gonna be back here in a week, so it doesn't feel like you're gonna go to all your spots.
No, there's nothing. I have no deeper connection to anything in my life.
You have people at the coffee place that know you.
Yeah, I'll say I have no. This is me.
You should do a parody video of like you going around saying goodbye to everyone, just to show how anonymous New York is. Like you say goodbye to your doorman. You've lived there for like 5 years. He's like, "Who are you?"
Hey, I just want to say it's been really nice getting to know you over there. They're like, "What's your name?"
Yeah, the guy with the drunk food order.
Right, like
the coffee shop.
How are you gonna leave? I don't know. How am I gonna leave my no friends, my apartment I don't own, my neighborhood that doesn't know me? What am I leaving? So I'm gonna go to this other place and I'm gonna not talk to anyone there. I'm gonna sit on my phone in Florida the same way I sit on my phone here.
Love it.
Fuck this place.
I'm excited for you. Can't wait to hear about it. Okay.
If you want to come see me complain on the road, I'm in Pittsburgh this weekend, Alabama, Huntsville, Alabama. Come to the shows. London. Foggy London
London.
town, Stamford, Connecticut, Hartford, Connecticut, San Francisco. I got a whole new set. People like it. I think it could be better. It's getting better. I'm working on it.
I haven't seen it yet, so I have no idea.
It's all about
could be great.
my parents thinking I'm a fat fuck and traveling alone. So
Okay.
if that
Sounds
excites
upbeat.
me. I'm a professional comedian, okay? It's going to be good
I
material.
mean, if it's anywhere near as good as your last one, it's going to be amazing to see.
Well, the last one I believe in, think is good. If someone here knows anyone at Netflix, Hulu, HBO, why don't you say a word or two about your boy J-Train? And
yes.
I'm doing
those are
betches.
the only setups that Jared is currently
I don't give a shit.
taking in the DMs.
Set me up with a streamer.
Yeah. No pictures necessary.
Yeah.
Okay.
What are we talking about today?
All right, we have
you went to a pool party, I thought.
Canceled because of the weather.
No, so no one got in the pool. That's how bad the weather was here?
Well, Sammy was supposed to have a pool party on
That's
Saturday.
what I thought.
Yeah, and then she canceled it like 3 days before because it was going to be like in the low 60s. You can't have a pool party in the low 60s.
I know, but don't you do you cancel the whole party?
Yeah.
No party.
No party.
So what did you do for Memorial Day weekend? Just looked out the window while it rained?
I went to my friend Liza's house. We just kind of
Okay.
hung out. Yesterday was really nice. We went by
Beautiful
her pool
yesterday.
yesterday. That was nice. Yeah.
A beautiful day yesterday.
Yeah.
City
I took some
was
nice
alive.
walks.
Yeah, good walks. I got a lot of good steps.
It was actually sometimes it's nice to have like not that much going on a long weekend. You can actually like relax. Sometimes when you have too many activities, it's like by the end of it, you're like, that didn't feel relaxing.
No, I feel you. I got back from San Jose. Going to San Jose, I left Friday morning. You leave Friday morning, you get there Friday morning.
Yeah.
You know, like when you go east to west.
Oh right, yeah.
West to east, I left 7 a.m. Sunday morning, got here
tired.
at 4 p.m. Sunday afternoon.
Sunday's
You're
a
like,
wash.
and I was supposed to go to Jersey to hang out at my friend's place. They live in Manasquan.
Oh yeah, what happened with that?
I was like, I can't do it. And then
You get in at 4? Yeah, you're not going there 4.
train down, get to them by 7. I
Fuck
would have been
that,
like
yeah.
falling asleep at the
Yeah,
table.
And then you have to come back the next day. Forget it.
Brutal. So I said, I'm sorry. I had to bail
Especially
my
when
friends.
the weather's not even that nice.
I know. Yeah, that's the problem with beach house friends. If they invite you and you say yes and the weather turns, you're in.
You can't leave.
You can't say no. You can't back out because then you look like you're just using them for the beach house, which
Right.
you are.
Which is why it was nice that Sammy canceled. She got ahead of it.
She did everyone a favor.
Yes.
You're right.
'Cause
Everyone's showing up being like, I wish the weather was better. Everyone in her house.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
with
I think
Sammy.
she did. I think she made the right move.
She did make the right move. I ended up staying here, but just kind of watching the world go by.
Nice.
Packed up my apartment. I didn't pack it up. Summer
You
Rose.
watched Summer Rose.
I
pack
watched
it up.
Summer Rose. Everyone go follow
Did you
Summer
stay?
Rose. For the first hour, and then I got anxious watching her pack, and I
Okay.
had to leave. I gotta go. And then I went and wrote. But that was my day.
All right.
What are we talking about today?
All right. I'm going to read our first email. Dear J&J,
Are people still dating?
I guess.
We
Is
talked
that
for
what
so
we, is
long,
that
I
what we
don't
do
know.
here? Who knows? All right. I'm a 30-year-old man and apparently a serial heartbreaker. I hate it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
After an 8-year relationship, I've been on 30 to 40 first dates in the last 3 years. Most have gone very well, meaning most girls have been interested in continuing to see each other. Okay. Honestly, this success has been surprising to me. Having been in a relationship for most of my 20s, I had no idea how I would fare in dating. Frankly, I think I'm fairly average looking, but I'm fortunate to have a job I'm passionate about. I'm well-traveled and open-minded, and I'm confident at making plans and leading conversations, all of which make for smooth first dates. Over half of dates end up back at my place, and nearly all of those end with us hooking up. Here, however, is where a recurring problem emerges.
Too much coming?
Sounds like it.
I just...
To be a man.
I mean, I'm
average looking. I have a job that I like.
Half the women come back with me.
Everyone is dying to date me. That is a very New York man issue.
And then I run into this huge issue. My penis is too big for them.
At the risk of sounding like a girl's worst nightmare, I'll be candid. Once I've hooked up with someone, I will pretty much keep taking her on dates while still dating other girls and keep hooking up with her until she directly or indirectly asks about exclusivity. Sometimes that happens the day after we first hook up. Sometimes it takes weeks or months. In a few cases, it is yet to happen. I'm not looking for something serious, so as soon as exclusivity is raised or I see things heading that way, I know I have to end things. Going through this cycle, however, is emotionally exhausting. I feel tremendous guilt when there's anger or tears, even though I know I've not done anything wrong. During our dates, for instance, I never insinuate that I'm looking for a relationship. No deception or love bombing. Instead, I'm upfront about what I am looking for. Someone to try fancy restaurants with. A +1 for a nearby concert. a travel companion for an upcoming work trip, etc. Typically, my first dates are a prelude to one or a series of these types of dates. Now, I'm self-aware enough to know that treating someone to plans like these for weeks or months on end might, for them, be a signal of elevated interest from my part. But in all honesty, eye roll incoming, this is just standard dating for me. I like fine dining and traveling, and I like it even more if I'm sharing these experiences with someone I have a connection with. With that, 2 questions. Is it my responsibility to protect girls' feelings, even if I'm not purposely leading them on? Should I be taking girls on lesser dates in order to minimize attachment? Thanks in advance, El Becho.
I like this guy.
Here, I'm going to start by saying that many, many guys do this. Very few would write in with it as wondering if it's a problem.
I totally agree with you. The first time I read this, I was like, I don't know if this guy's an asshole or not an asshole or if he's me.
Right.
You know?
Well, I was thinking some of the things he said did stand out to me as things that you've
right. No. He's
had
speaking
issues with.
Listen, if you heard that email and you're angry, I can understand. Mm-hmm. He is being as
Very
honest and open as a man can only be anonymously.
Yes. And I think he's doing more than most guys do, which is even thinking about it. Because I think I've dated many guys who have done this.
And I do think it's funny, like everything's in the wrong place. Like he's got a few things that he's saying right, but he's doing certain things that kind of like are hypocritical to what he's saying.
Right.
Because he's saying a lot of things he knows people want to hear. I rolled me this, but I know you'll hate me for saying this.
Right.
But you can't say, I know I'm being such a dick, and then keep being a dick.
Right.
He's weirdly specific and weirdly vague at the same time. He's like, I'm not looking for anything serious. And it's like, so I need to know kind of what you envision is what you're looking for.
That was my question.
Right. Because he when you say I'm not looking for something serious, but you do all these, fine dining and events and
concerts.
concerts.
And he says, someone I have a connection with.
Right. So it's like, are you, because I would say where him and I differ is like, I agree with him. I could do all these things with someone and then realize they're not the long-term person for me.
Right.
Even though I am looking for a long-term person. So I can go on these dates that are higher level dates, so to speak, and end up not with someone. And that hurts me, and I feel the guilt that he feels. But you can't just say I'm not looking for anything serious later in the game if you know it earlier in the game.
Right.
Like, I do understand if he was doing these things and being like, I am looking for something, I end up like going on these nice dates and then having a moment where I'm like seeing that this isn't like the match for me, and then I'm ending it and I'm feeling guilty. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but he's not saying, right.
He's not saying that,
I know the whole time that it's not going to be.
Right. And then he's like, and so you're lying by omission.
Right.
If you said on the first date, I'm looking for casual, but my version of casual does involve like having a partner.
Right.
And
because he's not saying that because he knows people will not be interested in that.
Right. So where is his responsibility, he asks. That's what he's asking, right? Should I be protecting girls' feelings? I don't think that's called protecting girls' feelings. I think that's called being upfront. Like, I don't think you're like pitying someone by letting them know upfront. If you know exactly what you're looking for, I would more understand if he was like, I'm looking for a long term, and along the way I do things that like I would actually be more on his side if there's a side to speak to. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I would be more on his side if I agree with that. If he stated his goals, I'm actually looking for something serious. I tend to find that I connect with a lot of people, but there's no one that I really feel like I could take the next step with.
Right.
That's not what he's saying, like you said. I think he's not being upfront about that because he knows he's not going to be able to do whatever he wants to do all the time, which is what he's doing right now.
I don't know what the blame is here. I guess like I like that he's writing it. I like that he's like, Jordana and Jared, here's my honest thoughts. I'm throwing them at you to give me feedback that I can hear without getting in quote unquote trouble. I do think that there's not a lot of places for men to do this right now, to like air their dating thoughts.
And it's funny, like, he basically describes himself as average.
Right.
All around.
Sure.
And I mean, that is sort of like the discourse that you're hearing a lot more and more. Again, I mean, we've talked about this on previous episodes, that there's this idea of like plenty of like accomplished, beautiful women to go around. Men who are just okay have their choice of like great options.
Right. The more I hear this discourse, the more like I kind of like I'm starting to get annoyed by it.
Sure.
because I think it's being taken advantage of for views on TikTok, and I just don't know where it gets us.
I
Like
agree-
I like
I
him
agree
saying
with
he's
that.
average. I would actually say he's saying this to get away with telling us on this email. Like he's trying to be. I think it's false.
False humility.
Yeah, I think this is the thing. Men say what women want to hear to be a part of the conversation. So a
Right.
lot of it is a little bit,
Was
again,
underselling.
I interviewed for Betches. I got interviewed by someone, and he was asking me. It was the relationship columnist that was asking about men wearing aloe hats,
Okay.
men getting into wellness, and I was like, men are getting into wellness and saying they went to therapy because they heard women say they like men who are into wellness and say they went to therapy.
Sure.
This is a very easy straight line from men need to go to therapy to guy who wants to fuck saying, "Oh, I went to therapy."
Okay.
Like that's a straight line. That's how it goes. Whether he's gone or not or took anything away from it, who gives a fuck? I said it.
Okay.
So I think this is kind of what this guy's doing. I can see it in his email where he knows the things to say. And he's doing that and then going, well, I should I be whole? I've been honest and I've been honest in this contract.
Has he? What is he saying?
He's never said anything to get him in trouble.
Right. He's never said anything. He's never said, I could really see a future with you.
Right.
Or I would love you to meet my parents next week. Or whatever the thing is that he knows would indicate that.
Right.
He's
So
being
he
sort of
stays-
purposely vague.
Right.
Right.
And then he goes, well, when it comes up, then I bring it up.
Right.
And you feel guilty because you probably should feel a little guilty. You
Yeah.
knew the whole time this wasn't someone you were going to marry.
There's two options. One is on every date, before every date or on every first date, you say, I'm actually really not looking for a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying that specifically, I actually do think lets you off the hook. If you
Yeah.
say on a first date, I'm not looking for a relationship.
Right.
I'm really enjoying dating a lot of people. If I have connection with someone, I love hanging out with them, but I'm not really looking to be dating anyone exclusively. If you say that, one, totally lets you off the hook. If someone wants that and chooses to not listen to that, I do think that's their responsibility at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Or two, if he doesn't want to do that because it will turn people away, then as soon as he knows that he doesn't want to be with someone long term or will never want to be exclusive with them, he should end it.
I agree with you. I think in addition, he's got to think of what he wants.
Well, he's saying he doesn't want a relationship, basically, right?
But what does that mean for him? Like, he obviously wants companionship. I like to do fancy dinners and nice things with strangers.
With people I have a connection with,
Right?
Yeah.
Like you want something. You got to
Wants to
figure
hook
that
up,
out.
too.
And I think this is like the problem that if I'm to interpret the anger on TikTok that I see from women with dating is that there's no thinking beneath the surface of what you want when I've thought a lot about what I want.
Yeah.
And you're going on dates with guys who don't care as much because they don't have much to lose socially.
And they have many options.
And they have options. That was right. So they go, I'm just looking to go out and have fun. I think, and this is harder, easier said than done. I don't even know how if I was to explain what I'm looking for, I would agree with this guy. I would go, I want companionship. I want to get to know someone without the pressure of what the next step is. And I want it to be so exciting that I never want it to stop. And then I'm suddenly just in this thing that doesn't feel like I'm trapped in it.
Sure.
And
but that's not about the person.
It's not about the person,
Yeah.
but
That's about your mentality. But
right.
right.
But then there's a point with every person where you go, oh, this ain't that.
Right.
And you have to bail. And the point of bailing and what you're saying isn't when they finally say, what are we?
Right. That's a cowardly move. That's what he
Yeah.
doesn't call himself, which I think
Right.
maybe men are thinking this, but they're not saying what I just said, which is I'm being kind of a wimp.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
you're
I'm
right.
waiting to be I'm waiting for someone to break up with himself.
Right.
Because I don't have the, courage to do it. I don't have the courage to be direct.
Right. And he's taking this somewhat alpha bro mentality when it happens of saying, what do I got to protect her feelings? She's not an adult. And it's no, you're misdirecting this.
Right.
You've
taken on the role of making someone the victim by their own making.
Right. And that's really not fair. That's a stretch. But I read this email and I was elements of it I hear him. I just wonder, like, this is the guy who will talk to us. You know,
Yeah.
like
I do think, and I know you don't like hearing about it because you do hear a lot of it about it unfortunately from the annoying people on TikTok. But I do think if this guy had less options, he wouldn't have this attitude.
Right.
If the ratios were not in his favor, that's why. I mean, like, obviously, I talk about the biological clock aspect of it. That's part of it. Bigger for some people than others. But I do think the other part of it is, like, it does feel more scarce. I feel like when you're dating someone and you do feel like if it doesn't work out, I don't know where the next great guy that I'm going to meet is. If people felt like great guys were like a dime a dozen,
right.
kind of, I feel like how it kind of is about women in New York. I do feel like there would be, you know, that's why there's so much of a feeling like I have one. Now let's lock it in.
Right. And it can feel probably from his end not as exciting because you're dealing with someone who's like softening a little bit.
Yeah.
They're kind of holding back so that they can hold on to someone who's
right.
scarce.
I mean, if when you were looking at apartments in Delray, if you saw 3 apartments that looked exactly the same, would you be like so ready to close on one?
It's funny you say that. When I was looking for apartments, I was looking for a very specific thing. You know, it had to be 3-month rental, had to be near the beach in Delray, and it's like that.
Not that many of those.
Right, and then I'm spending more than maybe I would have had I gone for different options.
It's all supply and demand.
Right. That's why, like, I think it's what's his responsibility is the question. It's
right.
like, I think his responsibility is he can't play aloof.
Yeah.
And his
clearly,
clearly,
yeah.
like he knows, like he can't know this much about himself and know so little about, well, it's their fault they didn't realize, you know, I don't have to protect their feelings. You can't say both.
Right.
I think the responsibility of anyone who's dealing with guilt from dating people and looking for casual is to understand that, like, yeah, you do have to do the extra mile.
Yeah. I think when in doubt, over communicate.
Yeah. And that's easier said than done.
Of course.
Like, you know, like, listen, this email comes at a time where, like, the anger feels high. And I've said that a few weeks ago.
I think it's frustration that comes out as anger.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what
and it
wouldn't
is
that
like,
be the definition of bitterness? Like, it comes off bitter.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing it a lot. Like,
bitter is like frustration and anger coming together. Yeah.
Right. I saw it on TikTok, and I sent you a video recently.
Yeah.
And it was just this woman just being like, there's like, she's pumping up these women. Oh, there's so many amazing, unbelievable boss bitches, unreal queens. And all the men here are losers.
Yeah, like
gross, disgusting men who don't do anything. And I was like, I don't know what it's accomplishing for her.
I agree. I think there's something to the sentiment that is real in the air, but I don't think that is the way to deal with it.
Right. I
don't think it's like the way to deal with it is to put others down. I think the idea should be, you know, more about like lifting people up or finding the good maybe in other kinds of people or something like that. I don't know exactly what the solution is.
The move is to strike from apps. I think the apps play to the most lazy part of a man. Like, I don't think they like do. I think the apps are built for women, like, to do well with dating, find new people, check some boxes, find out if they're safe or not, get a feel for them. I don't think it does any of that for a man. I don't think a dating app is like a good thing for a straight guy. Like, you know who I saw last night? It was so funny. I saw Jake Cohen. Do you know Jake?
No.
He's a chef. He's now like huge on TikTok. So he's gay. Here he is. Jake Cohen, best-selling cookbook author. He's awesome. I love Jake. When I knew him, he was like engaged and he was like, I think married.
Is he married?
Last night I was out for dinner and he's like, Jared Freed. And I look over and it's Jake Cohen. We give each other a hug and I'm like, how are you? And he's like, I'm single. I'm out there. And he was like glowing.
How long is he single?
I don't know how long. I don't know what it was. I go, dude, yeah, it's like, I was like, are you on the apps? He goes, I'm gay. I'm having the time of my life. Like, I was like, and I'm sitting there and he's like, I was like, what are you doing this summer? He's like, I'm going to Fire Island. I'm going to this. I'm going to that. I was out last night till 4 a.m. I was like, oh my, it was like this like alternate bizarro world where he was like carefree.
Yeah.
And just.
He was married to a man?
Not anymore.
Okay, but I'm saying.
No,
like,
no, he's always been gay. or to me, I don't think he was. I don't think he came out of the womb holding a rainbow flag.
At what age did he choose to be gay?
Yeah, I don't know when he chose this life, but he chose correctly. He was so like airy, like he was floating.
To be a young, successful gay man in New York.
Do you think maybe that's heaven? Like
maybe
people die and you come back to you're gay in New York, and hell is like gay in Indianapolis, like or something like that,
1935 or
right?
something.
Like where you like what? Because I looked at him, I was like, there was no concern of anything. Like there was like a group of like straight dudes next to me. Like
so is that your advice to this guy? Be gay.
Be gay, man. I think that's the way to go. I really. He was such a breath of fresh air. I'm sitting there like, oh, I'm so nervous. Oh my God, should I break up with this girl? Should I go out with this girl? Oh, I was supposed to go on a date and I canceled it because what are we gonna be? I'm moving anyways. And he's like, I was just in Mexico. I'm going to Fire Island.
There's a reason.
I'm doing Pride and Ibiza. Like it was like, I couldn't believe this guy.
There's a reason why gay means happy.
That's right.
All right.
Let's
on that
do
note,
Nick, you're picky.
Let's do it. All right, you want to read it?
J&J, my husband and I listen to You Up Together, have often joked about writing in to have you make a ruling when we disagree, and I'm finally writing in with an Nick, you're picky marriage edition. Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
I love judging other people's arguments.
Same. I wish we could have a couple on the show to say who's right.
I would listen, if you
and your husband or your boyfriend,
whatever it is,
your girlfriend or whoever it is, want to come on the show and have us. And if you go to couples therapy, a couples therapist will not tell you who's right. We'll
tell you.
So
I'll give you some advice with no diploma or degrees.
Yes.
Yeah. We've been married almost 3 years, together for almost 9, have a 1.5-year-old son and a dog. Oh, they're stuck. Yet my husband has never posted a photo of me on his Facebook. He doesn't have Instagram and rarely posts on Facebook, which I've always liked about him. I'm not super active either, but I do have a Facebook and Instagram, posting a few times a year, and I've shared many photos of him over the years, though his privacy settings mean most of his friends wouldn't see them unless they're also friends with me. Recently, he posted his first photo in about a decade, and it was one of him and our son, without me in the picture.
Single dad.
I get just out there being a cute single dad. It was from a professional family photo shoot, so she was there. And while neither of us loved the pictures of us together, sure, I feel like if that made the page, a wedding photo could have too.
I think that's fair.
I think it's fair. He's super social with a wide network of friends and acquaintances, so it icks me out that people who know him might not even know I exist. He adopted. He laughs it off when I bring it up and says I'm overthinking it. Maybe even implies he'll post a photo to make it right, but he never does. So J&J, what's the ruling? Is this icky or am I being picky? Sincerely, the faceless baby mama.
This would really annoy me. No pictures ever?
Yeah.
You post one photo and I'm not in it? Nothing from the wedding?
It's absolutely nuts.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah, he's wrong. He's absolutely wrong.
Do you think he's doing something shady?
I don't want to ruin a marriage here, but this. I mean, when he's friends with everyone,
you're married,
super social, and then the one picture you post on Facebook, which is is basically a singles bar. Like Facebook is where you go to reconnect with old flames. Shadily. Like yes. Facebook is every older relationship I see at shows. They're like, we met online, is Facebook.
Yeah.
Whenever I have a couple, hey, are you guys married? No, we just started dating a year ago. How'd you get together? Well, we knew each other way back when. We reconnected.
Yes.
It's always Facebook.
Yes.
Facebook is the land of like older.
Because it's where you have your older connections, or where if you're above, like if you were kind of Gen X, I feel like
yes.
You never really got into Instagram. That's sort of where you live.
Right. And a lot of these stories end up being cute. Oh, we went to high school together, and I opened up Facebook, and I had a message from Elaine. Yeah. Now they get a little creepy. So
this is suspicious.
To me, when you post a photo of just you and your kid, and you're a super social out there guy who never posts, like, There's people that are like, did your wife die? Like, what's going on?
Right. And he can be shady on Facebook because he has no other incriminating pictures of her.
Right. And no one would comment. Right. Well, no one would message him going, hey, so who's the wife?
Right.
They would just go, your kid's cute. How you been? The conversation.
I agree. If he it would be better for him to have never posted anything than to post this picture with him and his son. He never posted a picture in his entire history of Facebook, which many people haven't.
Right.
But she said he has privacy settings so no one can even see pictures that she's tagged him in.
Right.
Why?
Even if this...
Why?
Right. Why is this so locked? And again, this is why this podcast was invented. Like, so many people can look at you and say what he said. You're overthinking it. Come on, it's just text.
Then just do it.
Right. If it doesn't matter at all, open up the whole account. Let's go. And here's the thing with Facebook, it's, hey, how you been? I know it's been a while.
Right.
Facebook gives you this weird reason to reconnect. Like the people, if I went to my personal Facebook page, I have a fan account and then I have a personal one. If I go to my personal one, the people that pop up, I'm like, whoa, oh, shit, oh my God.
High school,
and
college.
Right. And you go, and if I was to like be like, hey, I know it's been some time, but I saw the picture you posted, it's an automatic reason to start talking to them.
I would, one, say, but you keep talking about doing this, why actually haven't you done it? And the other thing I would say is like, what about this picture made you feel compelled to post it as opposed to any other picture that we've had that I'm in?
I'm proud of my son for doing our professional photo shoot.
Right.
And
what about?
I wanted to see what women from my past still want to fuck me. That would be the only...
That would be the accurate...
Right.
The whole family photo shoot, he didn't include... He could have put up two pictures. He could have put up that picture and then a picture of the whole family.
And the idea that she goes, I know we both didn't like the picture. No, that's if I was to get into like liar's mode, you just agree with the woman who doesn't like the picture. No, I know, I hate it so much I could never post this. Like it's like,
here's what she should say. I actually decide I really do like this picture.
Let's
pop it up.
Let's do it, and let's take him at his most innocent because he is a listener of the show. Let me help a brother out, okay?
Run.
At his most innocent.
You in danger.
At his most innocent, he was like, she said she doesn't like that picture. I don't want to get yelled at for posting a bad picture of her. Here's a cute one of me and my son. It's been forever since I've posted. My pictures on there of me from college, chugging a beer. Let's have a new adult picture on there just for whatever. Then he realized he was getting a lot of like nice messages about it from all over the board. I think he probably got out of it. Oh, wow, people really like this picture. That's so nice. And that was it. But he has to admit that all this is doing is like stirring a pot.
Yeah.
That didn't need to be stirred.
I agree. No wedding picture?
Is his ring prominent in the picture?
That's another good question.
I don't know. This is, I'm with her.
I think it's a little shady.
It's shady.
Yeah. All right, let's do another one.
UUP@betches.com. Keep
Icky.
sending them in. A little icky. That's icky.
All right. Hi, J&J. Cheers from a longtime listener of the pod. Thanks for all you do to save dating. I, 35 female, went on a date last week with a 45-year-old naked farmer from a small town in Illinois near St. Louis, who explained that after growing up in a strict Catholic home with undiagnosed ADHD and leaving at 17 to join the Marine Corps, he realized around 2017 that he was miserable and began pursuing freedom, peace, and self-expression. Oh, my God.
What is this? The bio from a TED Talk?
There are people out there who really speak like this.
Right,
Okay.
in a strict Catholic home. And then I realized this penis needs to see the outdoors. I got to be a naked farmer.
Naked farmer. He bought a small piece of farmland, added some animals, ducks, goats, sheep, dogs, and activities, yoga pool, costume parties, and close friends. The kicker... His neighbors call him the naked farmer because, you guessed it, he likes to walk around either naked or in a loincloth. His word, not mine. While I may have admired his commitment to healing, however, he said he has an 11-year-old son and he remains in the buck outside when they're outside working. Call Protective Services.
How much money did this guy make in the Marine Corps? He just bought a huge lot of land and just... bunch of goats? Okay,
no,
go ahead.
My question, he said that when he hosts events and allows a local organization to rent his field for naked yoga, his only rule is that the men must be naked and the women can be only if they want to. When I asked for clarification, he said he keeps out the creepy men who want to attend to see women. So making them naked weeds out the cowards and the creeps. J&J, to what level of alarmed should I be by this, especially on a first date? Thanks, loincloth lassie.
He's really created some sort of moral authority on who is creepy and not creepy based on whether they'll get naked or not.
Yeah, I think it's a little weird to be naked in front of your 11-year-old son, but that's just me.
Yeah, I don't know how that works. I don't know how any of this works. Is this a real email? This is a real person?
I guess so. Listen,
What's
this
too
guy
much?
is living an alternative lifestyle.
There we go.
I would characterize it as that.
This
Are you
email,
interested in living an alternative lifestyle?
Right. This email is proof of why the first emailer exists. This email is basically like, there's no good men out there. And you're like, come on, there's few good men. And then they're like, it's between the guy who has some interests and likes to do nice restaurants and nice things, or
The naked farmer.
a guy who
Right.
requires men to be naked on his farm to do the yoga
Yes, exactly.
activities. Yeah, those
These
are the choices.
the two men.
Or
guy
a comedian
who's,
who gave up and moved to Florida.
Guys who's three types of men.
3 types of men.
The guy who's hooking up with you and 17 other women and won't break up with you until you mention that you want something more.
Right.
Or the guy who is so upfront that you're like, he's an immediate freak.
There it is.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
I don't know what do you? I think the way you put it, alternative alternative
Here's the thing.
lifestyle.
Is there anything inherently wrong with this? Again, 11-year-old thing I find to be a little weird, but maybe it's totally fine.
Well, he's inviting other naked men to his home. Like I don't know. I don't want that.
Yeah. I mean, I would be out. This guy seems, I mean, there are people like this, but doesn't sound like he's for you.
Here's the thing. You can take so much. I don't like when someone's like, here's my alternative lifestyle, and then they give me this
Reason for them?
rap sheet. You know, like, well, strict Catholic, home, undiagnosed ADHD, leaving at 17 to join the Marine Corps. All these things like on their own. I go, okay. Like, how about you like doing naked farming?
Yes.
Start at that.
Yes.
Then
that would
if
be
you
like
need
all right,
17 reasons.
Okay, this guy's a little alternative.
Right, you do something different, and then but the more reasons you give to like get me to like back away from asking any questions because it would be rude, you're basically like, I don't know. It's like,
what is this guy's game? Is he like looking for someone who's just fully accepting of?
I guess so. I think a lot of people are like that. I think I'm like that a little bit, where it's like, you know, I think as you get single and you get older, you go, this is how I live. Take it or leave it, you know. And I think he's doing a version of that.
This is how I live is not like. This seems like a little crazier than of a.
This is an extreme example. I think.
Right, he's like the guy. Who was the guy who had who was like he brought the water bottle that was actually like a fruit or something.
The what?
Remember there was like some guy with a red flag or deal breaker. He brings as a thermos. He brings like an empty Hershey's bottle.
Oh yeah. It was like a trash.
Yeah, and we were like, that's too weird. Like if that's too weird.
But this is one of those things where it's like, as she didn't really say he's asking for anything. You go on a first date. He just told you his life.
I mean, he's telling you who he is.
But
it's totally okay for her to say,
I don't want to be a part of that. Not for me. Like I again, you've only mentioned like all these negative things, and then you're like, should I go on a second date?
No.
What happened that made you want a second date?
And here's the thing. He doesn't have to be a demon for you to say, not for me.
Right. Well, this goes into again, if we're gonna like the other side of things, where it's like, but he's checking some boxes. He's a human. He's alive. He has interests. He likes to farm. He's good with his hands. Like she's doing all these other things, and then she's like that are vague. Mm-hmm. That like she's like, well, I don't know if I can really find another guy who like breathes air and like likes the outdoors. Right. And then she gets into the specifics that are horrific to me.
Yeah, you don't like him.
Yeah, you don't like him. It's okay.
Yeah.
Let's play some games. This week's Red Flag or Deal Breaker is sponsored by our friends over at Bailey's. So we're putting a little twist on the segment today, since Bailey's is shaking things up with their non-dairy liqueur made with oat milk. We'll read some of your submissions and tell you whether you should opt out or opt out. Same game, new name. If it's quirky, but you'd give it a shot, that's an opt out. But if it's a deal breaker, you're hitting opt out. I gotta say, let's cheers to Bailey's and the non-dairy liqueur.
What a summer drink.
Great summer drink. They come in 2 different flavors, cookies and creamy and coffee toffee. I will say this. I am a huge iced coffee at the beach or pool guy.
Yes.
What an addition to the day to transition from your walk on the beach iced coffee into your sitting iced coffee with Bailey's, non-dairy oat cookies and creamy.
The perfect poolside, beachside drink.
Especially
if you have these cups. Keep it
great
cool.
cups. Perfect poolside. I would call it a transitionary drink.
I would agree with that.
It gets you from morning to night. Gets you in the zone, so to speak.
Yes.
I'm just a huge fan of just an outdoor, refreshing, awesome drink, and that's what Bailey's non-dairy liqueur made with oat milk is going to do for you. It's going to take you from that morning iced coffee into that afternoon party. I love it. J&J, longtime listener, recent benefit subscriber, and Penn State alum. We are Penn State.
We are. Do you say we are a lot?
Not a big we are guy.
Do you say that to anyone else?
I never have said it to someone. I've done like a quiet we are. Yeah.
I judge the we are's a little bit.
Not a big we are fan. I'm not a big go blue. The Michigan people are obnoxious. There's no one worse than a Michigan alumni. My brother's one of them.
Look at that. My oldest nephew is actually going to Penn State.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Senior in high school now.
Old State?
Going to Penn State.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Happy for them. Tough. Is it tough to get into now, or is he an idiot like me?
He's okay.
Yeah, I'm not a big. I've never been. I
haven't seen his report card, but
Oh, send it to me.
I'll let you know how hard it is.
I've never been a college rock. Like I like Penn State. I love Penn State football.
You don't. I mean, it's very uncool to be too passionate about anything.
Oh, the Go Blue people! What an eye roll they get from me. Michigan people.
Yeah, Michigan people. No, Michigan people are so annoying.
They're brutal because it's called a Michigan man. I want to be a Michigan man. It's very singular. It's very individualized. It's very. There's a whole thing. Like I wish a psychologist could explain
why
the
they're so
douchery
annoying
of Michigan people.
Yeah.
They're all businessy. It's all, what are you doing? It's very, everyone's there for another reason to get themselves to a better place.
Right.
Penn State, what I liked about it, again, I have my qualms with Penn State.
What are your qualms?
Idiots that think that the education is worth
idiots
more than
who think they can host a podcast.
Yeah, they can just say whatever they want on a podcast about dating. Yeah. What I always said about Penn State people is sales type of people, like good, fun to have a beer with in a hotel lobby. I would say that's a Penn State.
I feel that. Yeah, Mike's got some friends who went to Penn State.
I know those friends.
You do. Yeah.
I would love to have a beer with those guys. Yeah, yes. I enjoy all those guys, and I didn't even know them.
It's that Penn State vibe.
Yeah, Penn State guys, like a little chubby, just big high five.
Every guy at Penn State is a little chubby.
A little chubby. There ain't no thin people at Penn State. How I like it.
I love it.
And how I like my women. So.
Sure.
All right, let's go.
All right, let's get into it.
Longtime listener, recent benefit subscriber, and Penn State alumni here. We are. Shout out to Jared. I've got a truly insane red flag or deal breaker for you, straight out of a rom-com. So I matched with this guy on Hinge. Let's call him Matt. We made plans to meet for cocktails at 8. I got to the bar 5 minutes early, and he texted that he was 5 minutes away. I'm waiting outside when a tall guy with dark hair comes around the corner, gives me a friendly hug, and says, "Hi, nice to meet you." I thought, he looks a bit different than I remember, but maybe I'm mixing up my matches. Hinge brain, right?
Is that a thing?
Sure. Okay.
Maybe it's because you see so many people. I get what she's saying.
Listen, I've gone on a date, and I've been like, is that?
And especially you have like a type, so I'm sure like most people you date probably look within like 10 degrees of each other.
If you squint, all of the women I've hooked up with look alike.
I'm sure if you could describe them, you'd probably describe them very similarly.
Right. Jewish, fat ass, loud.
Brown hair, brunette, yeah.
Went to camp. Yeah. No, I think they'd all.
You look like you went to camp.
Yeah. We sit down, order drinks, and chat a little, but something feels off. That's when I get a text. "I'm here. Where are you at?" Cue the Mr. Krabs panic meme. I turn around and there's my actual date standing behind me. I look at the guy across from me and go, wait, you're not Matt? He goes, wait, you're not Julia? And we all start to laugh. How embarrassing of myself and fake Matt. Right on cue, his real date walks in. Here's the kicker. The guys kind of look alike. Tall, dark hair, scruff, okay. But the other girl and I look nothing alike.
Interesting.
We're getting her version of this.
Okay. Well, you always talk about how insulting it is to be told you look like anyone else.
Right.
So I think most people feel that way about anyone else.
Anyone else.
Right.
So it's like, and again, she's like, look, they're the same, scruff, dark hair.
Right.
And me and her, what? I'm wearing Michael Kors. She's wearing, Lululemon, like whatever
Right.
it was,
Yeah.
like this.
So you're saying they look more alike than
she.
Okay.
We're getting
then
her side.
Then she would care to believe.
Right. I'll take her at her word. We all ended up sitting at opposite ends of the bar with our rightful dates. But as we were leaving, we actually checked in with each other, joked about it, and said we probably should have all fucked. No, I'm kidding. We probably should have all just done a double date. And yes, as everyone has been asking, I preferred my original Hinge date, and we're going on another date soon. So here's the question. Red flag or deal breaker, they started the date with the wrong person, mistakenly yours, the wrong Julia. What do you think?
This actually happened to Mike.
It happens more than you would believe. It's a great story.
In the dating app era, I feel like this happens fairly frequently, especially you're going to a place that's a first date spot.
I would say before the dating app era probably happened a lot. There might be some parents, right? Like there might be some people that are together today because they went on the date with the wrong person.
By accident, yeah.
Right, because now you can like go to your phone and see the text. Like the way they found out here is very today.
Yeah.
You said Mike went on a date like this?
This happened to Mike, yeah. He didn't go on the date with the other person, but they were both waiting for their other date to show up. Mm-hmm. And then realized their dates were on a date with each other
so
by accident.
They were the other people.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
That's funny. So then did they go up to them like, hey, break it up?
I think someone realized.
Right.
Someone realized.
Hey,
yes.
Stop touching my date.
Yes.
Hey, that's my vodka soda.
Get off.
Shoo.
I think the bigger red flag here is that the guy said, I'm here, WYA.
Oh, the where you at?
Yeah.
WYA.
I think that's a little like, where's the date? Joshua Tree?
It's a little childish. Where you at? Yeah, it's a little.
Where you at?
Where you at?
This vodka soda's not going to drink itself.
Hey, where you at?
Would you text someone that?
I'm not a
Sup.
WYA guy.
I'm here.
No,
Sup.
yeah, prolly.
Yeah.
Prolly makes me want to like never speak to a person again.
I'm here, probably early. WIA.
Right, where's this date?
Where
At
you at?
DJ's on the
Yeah.
Jersey Shore? Yeah, no, I'm not like a big like judge how they text person. There are certain words,
Certain Abreeves. Right.
that kind of like, am I with this person?
Give me them.
Probably to me, you're trash.
I could agree.
Right,
Probably is a deal breaker.
I hate Prolly so much.
What do you think of sup?
Not here nor there.
Don't care either way.
What do
If
you
someone
think?
texted you on a Friday night, sup?
Sup. I would think that it was like jokey.
Okay.
It wouldn't come off as garbage.
Yeah. I think it would be fine. I wouldn't love it, but it would be fine.
What do you think of NMU? Nothing much, you?
Very fifth grade IM
Right.
situation.
Is there some nostalgia
NM
there?
letter U. I think as an adult, there's a certain age where you can't really write NMU.
How about what's happening?
That's fine.
Okay.
I like what's happening.
How about, I'm trying to think of stuff I do. How them titties doing? Oh, okay, I don't do that.
Where are you at?
Where you at? Fully written out?
With a U.
Where you at? I'm okay with it. How do you feel about it?
Depends how long we've been dating.
How about what's crapping?
Depends. But have we had sex yet?
We've touched each other's genitals.
What's crapping?
Yeah.
I think if I've already slept with you, I'm probably in still. But if I haven't, maybe not.
Okay. It could ruin sex.
Yes.
It won't have ruined further sex.
What about IMO?
In my opinion?
Yeah.
I'm okay with it.
TBH?
I'm okay with it.
Okay.
How about you?
I think I've said both of those, so I feel really about mine with it.
But I mean, I've said things that I wouldn't fuck.
Same.
So I mean, I'm not. Who am I to
Do you
judge?
prefer LOL or haha?
I prefer a whole width of ha-has and LOLs.
Okay. Not a singular haha.
I
or
think
LOL.
not all ha's are made the same.
Okay.
I think reaction haha, I like it.
Our conversations are just us ha-haing back and forth.
A lot of ha-haing.
Yes.
LOL is different than a ha-ha reaction.
LOL's a more tapered down.
Right. Oh, yeah. It's like LOL. Like, that's
LOL,
funny.
Yeah. Or like, I'm not serious.
Right.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's, I get it.
What about an ROFL?
What? I don't even, am I texting a teenager?
I don't know how young you go. Okay, red flag or deal breaker. They started the date with the wrong person.
I opt out.
I opt out too. It's a red flag for me. Opt out.
I opt out. It's not even a red flag. It's, to me, that takes interpersonal, like, conversational skills to get through it. Like, if you had a good date after you ended up on the wrong date, I think you're, like, probably getting to know each other better than if you just had a conversation about, like, living in New York and your friends and family.
It mixes it up a little bit. The only reason I would say red flag or opt out is because might signal to me that you're dating a lot of people.
Interesting. Yeah.
Like, you've gone on so many dates that you just have no idea who you're on the date with.
Right. That would be something I could understand a woman seeing, and that it would slip by me.
Yeah. It wouldn't be a deal breaker, though. It wouldn't be an opt out.
Let's do another.
All right. Hey, J&J, longtime benefit subscriber here. Thank you both for all you do. Benefits. We love it.
Love you.
I have a red flag or deal breaker for you, or maybe just a new dating trend to discuss. The guy I've been dating for 2 months texted me today and quickly unsent a message. It said something like, I usually date girls who are more wild and spontaneous, but I couldn't resist pursuing her. Unsend button. That unsend button.
Good for unsend.
Yeah. Or not good enough, not quick enough.
Right, he wasn't.
You should have like unsend.
Wasn't quick enough on purpose.
Unsend and delete from your memory.
Yeah.
Kind of a confusing message, is it?
What is she confused about?
Right. But I got a little annoyed and asked him what that was about. He explained the message was accidentally sent from an app that is the #1 AI dating assistant. Okay. After looking up the app, I guess I believed him. I'm not sure how it works exactly, but like Carrie Bradshaw, it left me wondering, are men really using AI to date?
This woman is confused about everything.
She's having an existential crisis.
Right. I got a message. I usually date girls who suck dick right away. I don't know what that means. I'm not sure what that means at all. I'm so confused. And then he said it's from the #1 dating app for AI. I don't even know what that could be. I don't know. Okay.
Is it because they're struggling to get dates? This guy is extremely charismatic and friendly in person and via text, though maybe his texts were AI generated. Laughing emoji. But if you met him, he's not someone you'd think would need a sort of AI help to date. He also follows a lot of dating help accounts on Instagram, like one which is all about building automated funnels to get more dating app matches. This girl has done a lot of research.
Yeah, she has.
The language they use on their bio pages is exactly like the businesses I've worked with as an entrepreneur who used funnels to scale her own business. It's insane to me to see this in a dating context, and I can't figure out why men feel the need for it. As you've discussed on the pod, it seems like there are so many more eligible women than men. So why do men feel the need to use these gimmicks and tools? So red flag or deal breaker, he treats his dating life like an entrepreneur scaling a business and uses AI to text you. Can't wait to hear your thoughts on this, and AI betch. I had a totally different read on this than what she has sent in. I think we've kind of discussed this mid-email. This guy sent the wrong text to the wrong person.
Right.
He meant to send this to his friend, and he sent it to
and
you, the date, instead. Yes.
For
the AI thing is totally irrelevant to me.
Well, there's many things that could be happening on the spectrum of things. I agree with you. Like, he sent the wrong text. He needed an excuse.
She's not even addressing what he said. That's the weirdest part to me is she's not like, I don't know how to feel now that he said, like, I'm not wild and spontaneous. And he, like, wouldn't...
I think, there's also an option where he sent that on purpose to see if she will be a little bit more wild and spontaneous.
And then unsent it?
Yeah, you send something that, like, tells someone
what you...
No, but I'm saying that this is like a move.
Is it?
It can be.
Really?
I think that would be a move for me if I was like, she's hot, but she's kind of boring. Let me see if I can, like...
You would send that to the person you're
dating? I wouldn't
do
it. I'm just saying, like... To say, like, it's such a weird thing to say to someone. I don't even know who I would have this conversation with. Like,
maybe a friend. I could see texting something like that to my friend.
Yeah, but I mean, well, that's why he goes. His lie doesn't make sense.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't even sound AI generated, or like even if it
What
was,
would
what's
the
difference?
prompt? What would it sounds like? He's talking to AI as if it's his friend, and then
AI is his friend.
and AI you send. I usually date girls that are way more spontaneous. Like, why would he say that to AI?
Why would AI text that to her?
Right, it doesn't make sense. The only reason AI would text it to her is if he was like, I don't know, I just don't know about this chick. She's just kind of like boring. And
Text
then
her
AI
that,
wrote
text
back,
her that she's boring, AI.
yeah,
ChatGPT.
I don't get. To me, I usually date someone who's more spontaneous. Like if you send it by accident to the girl, it's getting her to like. It's a motivating text. Like, hey, give me a little more action here.
Right. This sounds like it's just motivating her to stalk him.
Right, and well, he
Well, I think both things are true.
Right, it could all be true.
Right.
I think we're just digging into like, what is this?
In my opinion, what's most likely true is that one, he is very into AI as it relates to dating. He's following these accounts. He is very into that. But also, I don't think that has to do. I think that's why he thought of that as an excuse.
Right.
I think that's where the lie came from, because he's like, oh, I'll just tell her it's like an AI thing. But I actually think he meant to text this to the wrong person and texted it to you instead.
Right.
Which we've all done before.
I'm with you. That's the most logical way to look at this as far as what happened here.
Yes.
The whole thing of like, are men using AI when they don't have to? I think she's kind of looking at this. She doesn't. It is funny with this whole dating conversation of like, men have all these options and women have so few options. We are leaving out the insecurity that men have of being like crushed. I do think that's more out there than people want to believe.
How does that play into this?
Because he wants to make sure he writes the appropriate thing. Why would a man use AI? Okay, can you write something that's a little bit more sexual? Write me a flirty thing back that doesn't get me in trouble, AI. Like, that's like a prompt you could put through AI. Like, write me something that's both respectable and flirty that can get back to this woman. So, like, why would men use this? They're trying to be correct. Again, men do things to fuck women. Men dress for women.
Okay.
Women dress for other women. Men dress for women. So all of this is done to, and you could say, well, are they lying? I don't know. They're trying to put a best foot forward to get where they're trying to go. So to me, why would men use this? A guy who seems pretty good in person. You use a tool because it's there for you to use. You know, men don't need to be on dating apps more often than not.
Right.
They could meet people. There's all these unbelievable women out there.
Yeah. Even if you don't need something, you could still use it.
Still use it because you're like, I want to be the best. I want to be the best.
Yeah.
You know, so I think the way she's looking at it, like, why would he use this AI stuff?
You're interested in the subject.
Right.
Yeah.
He's interested in the subject. I don't know what the subject is. It's either I want to find the best relationship it's a spectrum. I want to find the best relationship for me to I just want to fuck someone.
Sure.
That's the spectrum. So I don't know where you land on this. It sounds like he's closer to I just want to fuck when he's saying, I need these. She's not spontaneous. She's not being fun and crazy right away, you know?
What would you do if you accidentally texted the person that you were dating this text and then realized and then panic unsent it?
I would
and then
never
she
speak
says,
to them again.
She goes, Jared, what was that text you sent?
I would say, hey, I was talking about you to someone else, and it feels like my excuse for it would be I was talking to you about you to a friend. I'm really sorry. I'm embarrassed. It does feel like we're having a very surface level conversation. And sometimes
that's not what he said, though.
No, but I would change the wording. I would make it better for her. I would go, it feels like we're getting to know each other.
It does feel like you're boring and a loser.
Right.
So you'd own it.
You put me to sleep every
You'd
time
own
we text.
it.
I would own
Okay,
if I was to keep going, I would also disappear.
Okay.
That's an option too.
Like you might just never answer her.
I had a woman, we ended up going on a date, but I wrote to her, and this is combining the last two red flag deal breakers. Like I was on an app and then we moved to text, and then I got a text and it was like, hey, it's Jessica. And I go, Jess the teacher? And she goes, no, I'm a lawyer. And I go, I'm fully embarrassed.
Sorry, that was AI. AI thinks you should be a teacher.
And I wrote back, I'm fully embarrassed. And we never texted again.
Okay,
And then
that's fair.
And then I get a message from her on the app like, hey, we should try this again. And I was like, I was embarrassed. And then we ended up going out, and she was very nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think.
And I said I really like. I was texting with someone else. I thought it was the teacher I was texting with.
I mean,
same name.
That is less insulting than this.
Of course,
but,
this is him talking to a friend. I agree with your read on it.
Right.
Talking to a friend. I do think there is a possibility that he sent this on purpose.
You think?
Small.
You men are sociopaths.
That would be quite.
That's pretty devious. If that was the case, definitely opt out.
Yeah.
Definitely deal breaker. I think either way, probably opt out, because if it's about, you know what I mean? There's not many scenarios where this really can be saved.
No. I think the idea that you've looked them up to a point, this person who's confused about everything but can find out what hospital they were born in. Like,
I get it. I get it.
You are so far down the river without a paddle.
Yeah.
That I don't think this is worth saving. And I mean, can you really ever trust this guy? Like with this AI stuff, would you?
You'd always remember. I'd always remember. That
Yeah,
you said
you
this.
couldn't let this
go.
go.
And the AI thing is not true. All right, opt out. Deal breaker.
That's just a deal breaker for me. I gotta date someone who can form a sentence.
Okay.
Without the word prolly.
Prolly.
Let's do one more.
Prolly use AI. Okay.
J&J, longtime fan here. Jared, I'm with you on the weeknight martini life. Ooh, love a weeknight martini melt. Quick one for the red flag or deal breaker. I dated a guy who seemed perfect, smart, funny, close to his family. But on our second date, he told me he dumped his ex because she ordered pasta at brunch. His mom apparently said, do you really want to be with someone who eats pasta when she's pregnant? And he agreed.
Yikes.
She puts a skull emoji. As a pasta-loving woman who absolutely...
The bolognese.
Oh, no! The bolognese! As a pasta-loving woman who will absolutely be ordering carbs at any hour, this was a hard no. So tell me, red flag or a full-blown deal breaker? What do you think?
This is an opt-out deal breaker.
Yeah.
This is crazy. I'm surprised he would. It's also like, here's the thing. There's two reasons this is an opt-out. There's two reasons this is a deal breaker.
Mm.
The first is
double
obviously
deal breaker.
The first is obviously how horrendous it is that you would say that about any woman, let alone like a pregnant woman who eats pasta when she's pregnant. And the second is this guy clearly has no sense of like social norms or social etiquette, that he would tell you this story as if it wasn't embarrassing.
I opt out as well. Yeah, it's like funny when someone tries to tell you this joke that's like mean about someone that you're like not in on. Like that they think everyone is in on, you know, like
right, like we're all mean like this,
right? Like, oh my god, like who orders pasta when they're pregnant? And you're like, oh yeah, who would do that? I had pasta in the middle of the night last night, and when I woke up at 2 a.m, you know, like
right, and he's telling her the story like it's like a funny story,
like we all get it, and you're like, we have different personalities. We have different views on life. Your mom sounds like a monster. Like, do I have to I have to check my brunch orders with you? I don't even think this is like a widely held thing.
No pasta? At
brunch?
Or for anyone?
I'll do a pasta at the table if I see a good enough pasta.
Yeah, I would do pasta any meal.
Yeah, no, I'll have the eggs, the bacon, the toast.
Pasta salad? 3
pastas. Spread them along the table.
Love pasta.
More, and extra.
More pasta. All right. So
yeah, I'm gonna say that's a deal breaker for me.
I would agree. Deal breaker. Opt out.
Opt out. Deal breaker.
Yes. So thanks everyone for writing in, and thank you again to our sponsor, Bailey's non-dairy liqueur made with oat milk. I don't know about you, but I think we should have Bailey's made with oat milk in our coffee more often.
I absolutely agree. It's summertime. This is the time to put some Bailey's made with oat milk in your coffee at the beach, at the pool. Cheers.
Cheers.
I'm calling it the transition drink of the summer because I do wake up in the summer, want that iced coffee. And then I get a little taste for a little bit of Bailey's. And
delicious.
I'm in. They got cookies and creamy and coffee toffee. So great flavors, delicious.
It's the best. Opt oat with Bailey's non-dairy liqueur made with oat milk. Please drink responsibly. Bailey's non-dairy liqueur, 17% alcohol by volume. Paddington Limited, New York, New York. Do not forward to anyone under 21.